Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on the Puritan and we get to hear from Edmond today to wrap up Act 1, Scene 1. Now, what's been going on in this scene, the family is in mourning, or at least Lady Plus is very, very much in mourning because her husband has just recently died. And her brother-in-law, Sir Godfrey, is trying to convince her to not be quite so sad. And he reminded her that she's still young and hot and wealthy, so she could very easily find another husband. And in yesterday's monologue, she was mortified at the idea of finding another husband because she thinks she already had the best one and she will never find another man like him. And Sir Godfrey is like, yeah, but maybe keep it in mind. And she's like, no, please don't make me even think about having to remarry. I would rather die than have another husband. And her daughter Frances is like, yes, if it helps, I will never get married because my dad was the best husband that there ever was, and we're not going to be able to find anybody to match him. And the daughter Moll is like, yeah, I still kind of want to get married. But she kneels down to weep, sort of in solidarity with her mom. And Lady Plus finds a picture of her husband and she's like, oh, he's the best, he's the best. And she gets very sad. And she and Frances leave to go continue mourning because they're very sad about stuff. And then Moll has a moment where she gets to say, like, I really hope that I do get to get married because I was kind of looking forward to that for like my whole life. And then she exits. And then Sir Godfrey is like, you know what? My brother was pretty awesome and it's sad. And if there weren't so many people around, like maybe I'd be crying for him too. And he left behind this wonderful wife. Yeah, so it's sad that my brother's dead. And then he leaves. And then Edmond is left on the stage by himself. And he says, so a fair riddance. My father's laid in dust, his coffin, and he is like a whole meat pie and the worms will cut him up shortly. Farewell, old dad. Farewell. I'll be curbed in no more. I perceive a son and heir may quickly be made a fool, and he will be one, but I'll take another order. Now, she would have me weep for him forsooth, and why? Because he cozened the right heir being a fool, and bestowed those lands on me, his eldest son, and therefore I must weep for him? Why, all the world knows, as long as 'twas his pleasure to get me, 'twas his duty to get for me. I know the law in that point. No attorney can gull me. Well, my uncle is an old ass and an admirable coxcomb. I'll rule the roost myself. I'll be kept under no more. I know what I may do well enough by my father's copy. The law's in mine own hands now. Nay, now I know my strength. I'll be strong enough for my mother, I warrant you. And that's the end of Act 1, Scene 1. He leaves the stage and the scene is over. So it's sort of an interesting piece that he shares here, and we get some different insights into the family dynamics, specifically when he says that his father cozened the correct heir and gave Edmond all of his lands instead. So maybe the dead husband wasn't the amazing, wonderful person that Lady Plus thinks he was. But Edmund is like, I'm not gonna mourn for this guy. He was an idiot. He made some bad choices, but he gave me all the land and nobody can take that away from me. I know that, I know my rights under the law. So now I'm going to be the man of the family. And, my uncle, Sir Godfrey's kind of stupid, whatever. He's like, I'm going to be the one in charge. I'm going to be the one calling the shots. And I'm going to do it just as well as my dad did. Ha, ha, ha. So, little bit of intrigue getting into the end of Act 1, Scene 1 that hopefully keeps people coming back for Act 1, Scene 2 and beyond, which we will get into starting tomorrow. And we'll see you then. Mwah.